Hello, welcome to my channel. This is my first video where I'm actually speaking and you see my face fully, so allow me to introduce myself. My name is Brianna. I am an artist and graphic designer and most recently a content creator. It's day, like 175 in quarantine right now, so I've really just been creating a lot of artwork and really just wanting to put it out there on all my social media. And so I was in the middle of making a series, so I figured before I start my next one, might as well film the whole thing and share it with you guys. So today's project is called a mixed media piece, and for those of you who've never heard of mixed media before, basically media is just the plural word for medium, and medium just means the type of material that you physically use to create a piece of artwork. So whether it is acrylic paint or oil paint, or if you did something on the computer digitally, if you use Photoshop or Illustrator, that's basically just what it means. So mixed media is pretty self-explanatory. It just means when you use a bunch of different types of material and put them together. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to get from point A to pretty much point C, because that's how long this project took me. And basically yesterday it took me the entire day, but what else am I really doing? So it's okay. But as I was editing the video, I realized that if I explain every single detail of every part of the project, then the video is going to be 45 minutes long, and I'm not going to do that. So if at any point you see a part that you would really want me to explain, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what part you want me to talk about, and maybe I could even do a series of the whole entire project, and I could just break it up into 10-minute videos, and I'll just in detail slow it down and explain every single part. So give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below and let me know. Anyway, so I guess let's get into it. I hope you guys enjoy. I started off by sketching out a couple of drawings of how I want the layout to be. It's always good to sketch out your piece before you go ahead and do it, but I'm sure you know that. I ended up just finding a photo of a buck on Google and using that as my reference as I sketched. I had this really cool idea of, drawing out a deer and then painting the background and having it be like a really pretty night sky with a lot of blended colors, and then have the deer standing on a lake in the middle of the forest. It's very important that after you're done with your sketch to outline it in Sharpie. It's a lot easier to render a drawing that's in Sharpie on Photoshop, and you're definitely going to need that for this piece. So once you're done going over your sketch with Sharpie, make sure you erase all the pencil marks. Honestly, even if you have some mistakes or some little smudges, it's really okay. Like I said earlier, we can just get rid of everything in Photoshop. But then you don't need any fancy equipment. All you need is your phone. All you're gonna do is position the drawing in a well-lit area. Make sure you have the flash on, and just take a couple of good pictures of your drawing, and then you're gonna go ahead and upload it to your computer. After that, I got out my drawing board and taped a piece of paper down to the drawing board. You don't have to do that. I just think it's easier for me so that the paper doesn't slide all over the place, but really you can just put a bunch of newspaper down and paint that way. Next, I started mixing up my paint, and I'll be honest, I didn't use any specific paint for this piece. I literally just used the leftover paint that I had from my color theory class in college. So you really don't need to use any sort of specific paint. You don't need to find the same paint that I used. This is your project. You can literally find whatever paint your heart desires and use it to do whatever you want. As you can see, I'm doing a swishing motion with my paintbrush back and forth. Every time I use a new color, I blend with that motion, because honestly this is acrylic paint and it dries really quickly, so it's not really meant for blending like that, whereas watercolor you have a lot easier time blending the colors together. So I actually found that doing this motion created some really nice textures. It created this like really pretty, almost like a ripply effect, which actually worked out really well because of the fact that I want the deer to be standing on a body of water, so it was a little bit of a happy accident. Now I'm taking a flathead brush like this one to create the stars. So now what I'm doing is wetting the brush and dabbing the tips in white paints. So I'm taking the brush in my hand like this, and I'm taking my other hand open, and I'm smacking the brush against the palm of my hand and moving my arms around the canvas to create the splattered star effect. I'm making sure I'm leaving the brush pretty wet, because then I've found that it creates a better splatter for the stars. And there you have it. So that's the finished painting. Look at that texture. I love the way the strokes came out. It just like, you can't get that if you just digitally render the background yourself. Like, you can create a gradient, but you can't get these beautiful marks, like just the way that a physical hand can create a piece. So anyway, that's why I like doing mixed media, because you're able to incorporate something like that into your piece. Now I'm literally just finding a spot in the house that has really good lighting, and I'm just putting the painting on the floor and taking a picture of the painting on my iPhone. And here are both of the finished physical pieces. So now that you've sent both of those to your desktop or your workspace, it's time to edit them in Photoshop. So to start, I am opening up the photo of the deer that I took, and I'm bringing it into Photoshop to render. So what I'm gonna basically be doing this entire time is making it so that there are no colors besides black and white. I'm changing the photo to grayscale, and I'm cropping out any of the edges of the paper. I'm making the blacks as black as possible, and I'm turning the background completely white, so that it is just nothing but black lines on a white background. I'm also going in and just refining the edges and erasing away all the little like lumps in the lines and just cleaning it up. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I just like to because it bothers me. Once you're done with the drawing, you're going to save that as a PNG and open up a new document in Photoshop. This document is going to be what we're going to use as the final document, so we're going to make it to size. I'm going to go ahead and change the resolution to 300 because that is the size for printing, and then I'm going to change the document size to 18 by 24 inches. After I do that, I want to make sure I save the document, and I'm going to name it Deer in the Forest for now. After that, I am going to drag in the photo of the background that I took on my iPhone, and now basically what I'm going to do is just edit the coloring, stretch it so that it fills up the entire page. I'm going to just play around with the settings and get it so that I think it's perfect for the piece. Next, I'm going to take the PNG of the deer that I made earlier and drag it on top of the background. And here's where I'm going to change the outlines to white, and then I'm going to stretch it out really big and put a copy of the background inside the deer. Then I'm going to create a reflection and a ripple effect in the reflection so that it looks like it is standing on a body of water like I wanted it to. So after that, I am going to be doing a mixture of digital painting with the paintbrush tool in Photoshop and photo manipulation of an actual photo. So first what I'm going to do is go on to a website called unsplash.com that has a bunch of free stock images, and I'm going to download this photo that I found of a forest, and it's this photo that I'm going to use as a reference point for the forest around the deer. I'm also going to be chopping it up and using the clone stamp tool to manipulate the trees and the dirt and the ground around the deer so that I can eventually manipulate the coloring and use it so that it looks more realistic. I really like how the more realistic look of the trees are going to juxtapose with the texture of the painting in the background. That's what I like about mixed media pieces, is that it shouldn't go together, but it does. So now that I've clone stamped enough to my liking and I've repositioned the trees in its proper place, I am going to now play around with the colors and make it a lot more blue than it is now. I'm also going to add some texture in the filter gallery just to, I don't know, give it a little bit of similarity, I guess, to the background, because then it just like looked too different, I guess. I just really liked it with a little bit of texture on it. After that, I added some lens flares in the background of the deer to really just make it look otherworldly. I thought it looked really cool with that halo effect around the deer's head. I actually played around with it a lot, so I went ahead and cut to the part that I like. Here I added some accent lens flares onto the trees, and I really actually like the way that this came out. I originally had it where the light just looked way overblown, so I found that these subtle lens flares on the trees that created this like reddish kind of effect looked really, really nice. And that is pretty much the end of the piece. I really, really, really love the way it came out. I'm super, super proud of it. And if you are still here watching to the end of this video, thank you so much for sticking out to the end. I know it was a little bit of a long video, but I had so much fun creating this piece and filming it all and sharing it with you guys. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this journey. I hope that you create your own mixed media pieces, and that, you know, this really helped you and gave you some great ideas to keep busy in the quarantine. If you created your own mixed media piece, please don't be afraid to share it with me on Instagram. Let me know. I want to see everything you guys do. And enjoy your day, everybody. Please stay safe, wash your hands, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.